Okay, let's talk about the things that people don't want to hear when it comes to kettlebell training. Now, this is not a I am holier than thou video. This is I made some of these mistakes myself many years ago, and I want to help you avoid those mistakes. So, whatever I say, please feel like I'm not saying it to be offensive or talking down. Try not to get your emotions into it and just listen to the message. Okay, let's start with number one. Kettlebell training is not as easy as it looks. Okay, so if you compare kettlebell technique and the finer details that you need to learn to stay safe and make it effective, and compare that to things like a barbell, for example, it's a lot more complex. The learning curve is a lot higher. So people can choose to invest the time into that, or they don't. And when they don't, they'll use things like sweatbands to dampen the banging. They'll use things like gloves to avoid the blisters or the pain that they feel in the hands from the friction, the calluses that it will create by doing things wrong. Yes, you'll always develop some form of calluses, that's just normal, but when you do it wrong, you will develop more and it will turn hard and then it will burst, or you'll develop blisters, etc. So those are the things that people use mainly when they're doing things wrong and not investing the time into the technique. Grip, for example. Grip is number one. That's why we got a free PDF out there that can be downloaded by anybody for free. Just search for Master Kettlebell Grips. And most people think grips, grips, you just hold the kettlebell, come on. No, that's not what it is. I guarantee you, download the PDF and then you'll learn about grip transition, the most common grip, and hook grip, transitioning into racking grip or loose grip, etc. These things are important, especially for the clean and for the snatch. That's where they're the most important. So check that out. So far I've spoken about how people don't want to invest the time into that higher learning curve for kettlebells, and then kettlebell itself gets a bad name and it's like, oh, I got injured with the kettlebell, but it's not the kettlebell, it's not the exercise, it is the lack of progression, it's the lack of time and or money that you did not invest. Okay, so kettlebells, for most people that get started with them and do it right, it's a lifelong thing, I guarantee it. Even if you've been attached to the barbell and then all of a sudden, if you start to explore the kettlebell, I guarantee you that will be a thing that's higher on your priority list. Yes, people will say, oh, but the barbell, you can load it up so much higher, and this is true. And kettlebells will probably cost more money too. That's true as well. But kettlebells are unilateral and there's so much more that you can do with it. I guarantee you they're more versatile and a lot more things that you can do with it. What I like about it is that you can take it anywhere. So whenever I go on holiday or traveling or to the beach, just relaxing, kettlebell goes with me, and we spend time learning stuff, just playing with it, etc. Now the main thing that you're not going to be happy hearing, but is one thing that we see a lot. I've been in business nearly 2 decades, running many groups, owned several gyms across the world, trained many people, and you just see the same thing happening over and over again. And I've written about it, created books, courses to avoid these things. But in general, our sales show that most people are more interested in kettlebell workouts and challenges 1.0, kettlebell workouts and challenges 2.0, and anything to do with workouts. And our book, Preventing Kettlebell Training Injuries, is at the bottom of the list, the bottom of the sales list. So what does that tell you? It means that people are more interested in just diving in and getting stuff done rather than investing time in that learning curve, which brings us back to what I said in the beginning. Now, there's a difference between workouts and there's a difference between learning technique. So technique is where you spend time. It's where you slow down. It's where you look at yourself, assess yourself, you ask questions to a group, or you get yourself assessed by a trainer, or you assess yourself through videos. That's what you do when you spend time on your technique. Okay, now when you work out, that's where you put into practice what you've been working on. AMRAP, 20 minutes AMRAP, as many rounds as possible, bang, bang, bang. How many rounds can you get out? Or 4 time, do 100 reps 4 times, as fast as possible. So those are workouts. That's usually where people don't focus on technique, whereas myself, I have developed a discipline where I don't focus on the reps. Yes, I focus on pushing myself. I focus on getting out as many reps as possible, but I make sure that it's at a pace where every rep is the way I want it to be. So that can still be fast. It is fast, but it's still at a pace where I maintain the correct form and technique. It just turns into a downhill battle with injuries. Once you start focusing on technique and just making sure that every rep is valid and correctly and not cheating yourself, that's when you start making gains and stay injury free. So there's a lot more to be said, but what's the summary of what I said? The summary is that most people, when they start with kettlebells, they're going to love it and they don't want to slow down and they just keep training without any goals and just thinking of more reps, heavier weight, etc., rather than focusing on technique and getting things right, mastering every exercise and taking it step by step, building upon the previous step. So for example, people will go dead snatching without having actually mastered the squat deadlift itself. So that's a progression. Before you do the dead snatch, you need to be able to squat deadlift it. So first squat deadlift, which means you got the range of motion and you got the strength to bring that kettlebell all the way from the ground into a hang. Then from there you get explosive, and then you understand that you need to open up your hand, you need to transition your grip, etc. And then you go to the dead snatch. So point being there is, again, people skip progressions and just jump in. They see other people do cool stuff and they want to do it too. It's very hard not to do that. Now, to get back to our groups. So in our groups, we've got some really great people that do amazing stuff. And you need to use their knowledge by asking. You need to stop being scared to post where you're at. You're not going to be at that level, and they are not going to be at somebody else's level, and there's always somebody at a different level. There's always somebody at a higher level, so don't worry about that. To progress, you need to first do away with that. Don't be scared to show where you're at. Okay, so that's number one. Post, ask questions, use their knowledge. These people are not there to just show you, hey, look at what I can do. Well, at least I assume that. I know most of the people are not like that, and they shouldn't be. If they are, then they won't make it very long in the group, because everybody should be there to help other people. It's not a look at me type of group. Look what I did 1,000. Hey, no. If I would post a video of, hey, I just did 1,000, then that video is out there to ask, did you injure your hands at all? Did you feel your back at all? Did you feel sore the next day? How did you manage to do that long period of time without putting the kettlebell down? Were your hands sweaty? How did you avoid blisters? And so on. That's why that video would be there, and you ask questions, okay? So the groups are great to learn, really, really great to learn. Check out the link below to check out the groups and join them, and start posting, start asking questions. Then, of course, the groups are great. They're really great, but it's all free stuff. So you're going to get information from many different people, and to get the right information, you need to know what you want first. So you need to know your goals. You need to know what you want to do, or you need to know exactly what your goals are, post your goals, and then ask, what should I be doing to reach those goals? When you do a certain exercise, you need to know the variation that you're doing and why you're doing it for, because a lot of people just post, for example, a swing, and hey, how's my swing? Well, first of all, there are many types of swings. There's the pendulum swing for endurance, there's the hardstyle swing for power, and then you have swing variations in between that for different things. So there's not just one or two variations of the swing. So check out Master the Kettlebell Swing if you're interested in that. And my point is, you need to know what you're doing before you post, and you need to include that in your post, or you need to say, I don't know. So back to what I was saying, don't be scared to post. Just post and ask for feedback. That's the most important thing. So if you're just posting a video and it says nothing, then people probably won't do anything. They're instructed actually not to do anything, because our group is like, unless you ask for feedback, you're not going to get it, okay? If you're just posting, great, for motivation, maybe you need some motivation, that's great too. Post in there, that's fine. So then you won't ask for feedback. So I see, for example, people posting workouts in the group. You know, they invested a lot of time into making the video, and they look really good actually, like they've got some energy behind it. They would do really well. But the problem is, they don't ask for feedback. They're just there thinking already like, hey, I'm great, this workout is great, there's nothing wrong with the technique. And they post it there, and we leave it up, because it's up to people to decide whether they go with that, whether they start wondering whether it's the right technique or not. It's up to the people. It's not up to us to say, hey, that's the wrong technique. You can't have that. And secondly, there will always be people who get something out of it. You know, maybe they get the vibe, maybe they get the motivation. So there's always something that they'll get out of it. So we'll leave it there. But my point is, when you're posting stuff and you know that you still got things to work on, ask for feedback. You know, a trainer is never perfect. I'm not perfect. I got things to learn as well. A lot of things, for sure. Every trainer does. You never stop learning. Never, 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 never. Guaranteed. There's always more to learn. So you always need to be open to feedback and learn more stuff. I think I've rambled on enough. Just make sure that you come and check us out in the groups and start posting, start interacting.